Have you ever felt like people come to you only when they need something? Have you ever canceled your own plans, your rest, your sleep, or your peace just to help someone who forgets you the moment they're done? If you felt this, then this story is for you. Because sometimes, life teaches its hardest lessons through the very people we care about. Once, in a quiet little town surrounded by long green fields and calm, aging houses, there lived a man named Elias. Everyone in town knew him well. If someone's bicycle chain snapped, they called for Elias. If someone needed help carrying boxes, they knocked on Elias's door. If a lonely soul needed company, they went straight to Elias's home. He never said no. He always smiled and said, "Of course I'll help." Elias believed that helping others made him a better person, and people often praised him for his kindness. But slowly, without even noticing, Elias's life stopped being his own. His garden stayed half-finished. His windows remained broken. His roof needed repairs. His own problems kept piling up, yet instead of fixing them, he spent his days fixing everything for everyone else. Every night he returned home covered in dirt and sweat. His mother would look at him with weary eyes and say, "Elias, my dear boy, you help everyone. But why does no one ever help you?" Elias always offered the same gentle smile and replied, "It's okay, Mom. One day people will remember my kindness." But that day never came. One evening, the sky darkened and heavy winds began to rise. The townspeople rushed to protect their gardens and belongings before the storm arrived. Elias ran out too, but not to save his own things. Instead, he went straight to help his friend Marcus, whose tools and equipment were still scattered outside. Together they worked quickly, covering everything with cloth and moving items into the shed. Meanwhile, Elias's own garden furniture remained outdoors. His plants were still exposed, his wooden boxes were wide open. Then the storm struck. Rain poured down relentlessly. Wind tore through the town, and by the time Elias finally returned home, nearly everything in his garden was destroyed. He sat on the front steps, rain dripping from his face, staring at the muddy wreck that had once been his peaceful garden. His mother gently placed a warm towel on his shoulders and said softly, "Elias, today you saved everyone's things, except your own." Elias said nothing, but inside him, something finally cracked. The next morning, exhausted and confused, he walked to the edge of town to visit old Mr. Whitman, a wise, retired teacher who lived in a small cottage by the river. Elias sat beside him and said, "Sir, I don't understand what I'm doing wrong. I help everyone, but I feel empty. I feel tired, not from work, but from people. Why does kindness feel like it's breaking me?" Mr. Whitman watched the river flow quietly and replied, "Elias, look at this river. It gives water to trees, birds, animals, and farms. But when it rains too much and the river forgets its boundaries, what happens?" Elias thought for a moment and answered, "It floods. It destroys everything." "Exactly," Mr. Whitman said. "Kindness without boundaries becomes self-destruction. You are kind, Elias, but you have no limits. You run everywhere for everyone, but nowhere for yourself. You believe saying no is wrong, but sometimes saying no is the most honest form of self-care." Elias listened closely as Mr. Whitman continued. "For the next 7 days, don't say yes immediately. When someone asks for help, pause and ask yourself, will helping them harm me? Will I lose time, peace, or energy I need for myself? If the answer is yes, then say, not today. Try this, Elias. You'll see what happens." The next morning felt different. Around noon, Marcus hurried over and said, "Elias, please help me move a heavy box. I need you." Elias glanced at his own broken fence, the one that had needed fixing for months. His heart wanted to say yes, but he remembered Mr. Whitman's words. He took a slow breath and said, "Mark, I'm sorry. Today I need to fix my own fence. I can help you later, but not today." Marcus stared at him in shock. "You're saying no? You never say no?" Elias nodded quietly. Marcus left looking upset, and Elias felt a twinge of guilt, but he stayed focused. Within a few hours, the fence that had been broken for months finally stood strong again. For the first time in a long while, Elias felt a small spark of pride in taking care of his own life. The next day, two neighbors came seeking small favors, help carrying shopping bags, fixing a chair. But Elias politely declined, explaining he was busy with his own work. That evening, instead of feeling drained and used, he felt light and calm. A quiet peace settled in his heart. On the fourth day, the sky turned gray once more, and another round of heavy rain poured down. This time, Elias's roof began to leak. He looked outside, expecting someone to knock on his door like he always knocked on theirs. But no one came. Not a single person. He could have felt frustrated, but instead, he felt something new, strength. He picked up his tools and fixed the roof himself. It took time, it took patience. But when he finished, he sat beneath his repaired roof and whispered to himself, "So this is what it feels like to depend on myself." Days turned into weeks, and slowly, Elias became a different man. He stopped rushing everywhere. The moment someone called his name, he no longer sacrificed his sleep, his peace, or his energy for people who never cared. He began waking early to tend to his garden. He cleaned his house, he invested time in himself, and something unexpected happened. People started respecting him more. Marcus began solving his own problems instead of depending on Elias. Neighbors stopped calling for every little thing. The town remained friendly, but people no longer treated Elias as a tool to use at will. Elias's house looked better, his garden thrived, his face looked fresher, and for the first time in years, he laughed freely, without exhaustion. He was no longer the man who was always available to everyone. He was the man who valued himself. One afternoon, Mr. Whitman visited Elias. He looked at the healthy plants, the tidy yard, and the peaceful smile on Elias's face. Softly, he asked, "So, Elias, did the world fall apart when you stopped saying yes to everyone?" Elias smiled and replied, "No, sir. In fact, my world finally started coming together." Mr. Whitman nodded gently. "When you stop saying yes to everyone, you finally say yes to yourself. And that is when life begins to change." So, my friend, are you like Elias? Do you give too much? Do you say yes even when it hurts? Remember, saying no does not make you selfish. It makes you strong. It means you are choosing peace over pressure. Your time, your mind, and your heart are precious. Protect them, because only when you respect yourself will the world respect you.